Did you ever find, I mean, coming from Glee, playing a young gay man, being an openly gay man is a political act whether you want it to be or not, especially at the time that Glee was coming out. It's pre-legalization of gay marriage in the States. So you are sort of a political piece whether you want to be or not at that point. Do you ever find when you were writing these Land of Stories books that it's sort of, I mean, they are apolitical. They are not addressing really any issues. They are a positive escapism. I think, as you said, that was your intention for any kid who may be struggling at a young age. Do you ever find yourself struggling as a writer to not sort of impose or have any of those sort of elements of your life and your story in those books at all?
I don't know if I struggle with it because I'm pretty stubborn about it. I think I never want to in my books ever be a preacher. You know, I think I try to write about common good and common decency and you know there are a lot of issues that I could choose to write about in the Land of Stories, but I think they mirror the real world too much, and it kind of defeats the whole purpose of you know the escapism that I was talking about. But I definitely try to slip in things here and there, like in the Mother Goose Diaries, I wrote about her standing up for women's rights and marching with Martin Luther King and then standing up for marriage equality and I really love kind of introducing topics like that to kids in that kind of light, so you know kids can really see that the battles that we are fighting today are very much the battles that we were fighting 60, 70 years ago.
And it's interesting to subvert fairy tales in that way, because so often fairy tales are considered these sort of antiquated ideas of how we construct ourselves socially with other people, especially in regards to men and women. You think of Cinderella, you think of a number of other fairy tales where the male is the prince, is the savior of the woman, and all of those things. So for, I think, someone who is coming from a very political place personally, political is such a bad word in regards to this, but I think you know what I mean.
Yeah, more progressive than
progressive,
anything.
yeah. I mean, political sounds like you're trying to be something, but I just mean in the sense of the way that the world works, you end up sort of being that.
Right.
That you end up sort of subverting these old fairy tales that have come in many ways to represent something antiquated.
Right, and it's interesting because so many fairy tales have such stigmas to them that the fairy tales never invented themselves. Like the whole thing about Cinderella needing a man to save her, that was something that we did, our generation did through movies and whatnot. That was not what the story was really about when the Brothers Grimm told it. There's so many wacky things of people getting their eyes pecked out by birds and getting their feet cut off. We're the ones who really put like the sexism into it. So
Disney probably.
Yeah. Well, not me. He said that.
Oh, sorry.
But they've made up for it.
My bad. Sorry.
Never gonna be Pinocchio. Damn it. No, but it's really fun to kind of reintroduce those stories as they were originally told, and to have a young girl in the Land of Stories, Alex, the lead, say like when she looks at Cinderella, she doesn't think it's about a man saving a woman. She sees it as a story about karma.
I'm gonna open up to the audience.